morning and welcome to my channel. My name is Aaronetta and I like to vlog about just good, happy, holistic living. And actually it is the afternoon here. It is 12:34. 1, 2, 3, 4. I love saying that. But it is 12:34 and it is very, very hot here in Louisiana. Some would say unreasonably hot here in Louisiana. And I just got finished with a wonderful writing session at one of my favorite places to write here in Shreveport, which is one of the Rhino Coffees. I am working on, a couple of years ago, I wrote a Christmas script called The Dazzlewood on St. Cloud. And I haven't been able to sell it yet or get it produced. And so I decided to turn it into a serial for my Substack called Dazzling St. Cloud. Right now that's the working title, but I really, really like it. So yeah, I was working on that today and it is going fantastically. Like, the words are flowing so easily. It's so much fun. The second I started writing today, though, I saw that I only had about half an hour of battery life. And so I was like, okay, well, let's do it. Let's get this half an hour in. So it went great. Now I thought that we would just spend a couple of hours together. So I've really been working on dialing in my healthy habits. And one of the things that I've been loving is reading fiction before bed. So I remember years ago when I was suffering from debilitating insomnia. It was awful. I was living in London doing my master's program, and I was probably getting about 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night. I mean, I would wake up sobbing when it was time to go to class. And I did so much to try to heal my sleep, which I may write about soon on my Weekly Gorgeous Substack. But one of the things that I remember them saying is read fiction, hard copy, not on a screen, but get a hard copy fiction book and read it before you go to sleep. And the reason is nonfiction prompts your brain into kind of figuring it out and working mode in a way, whereas fiction calms your brain down and kind of prepares it, helps it enter like a flow state. And so, and I've actually been using that too with my writing, but we'll talk about that at a different time. So recently, being in perimenopause and the different ways that can affect your sleep, once again, I have had issues with sleep. But I remember how I healed it before, so I've been dialing in those habits, those no screen time, not eating heavy carbs for dinner. There's so many. I think I will write about it because there's so many, but they really do help. But that one fiction I've gotten back to, and I love it because I used to be an avid reader. And recently I haven't been reading at all. And I did write about this on my Netta in Paradise Substack that I'll link below. I'll link this article below. But it would broke my heart that I was no longer a reader. I'm like a scroller. And I listen to a lot of audiobooks, which I love a good audiobook, but I wanted to get back to being a reader, like a, hard copy, carrying around all the time reader. By the way, this is a great book. House of Trelawney. So that's one of the books that I've been reading before I do my fiction to help me get into a flow writing state. But I just finished an excellent bedtime reading book called The Heiress. So I want to head over to Barnes and Nobles and get another one of her books because I enjoyed them so much. And I also had a couple of other recommendations just from watching different people's YouTubes, particularly Hannah. What's her last name? Hannah I'm just going to say Hannah right now, but I know it will come to me. But particularly Hannah's. And another booktuber who I love. I've been assimilating a list of books that I wanted to look into. One of them is Wayward. So I'm going to head over to Barnes and Nobles and look at a few and pick one out. So I ended up leaving the bookstore empty-handed. Wayward, the first page stressed me out. And Elizabeth Warden, I was looking for her classic short stories, and the collection I found was kind of based on Ethan Frome, and it talked about how it was not set in the Upper East Side opulent New York like she normally does. And I was like, no, I don't want this. I want opulence. So I went ahead and put that down. And the other one, I just want to do more research about. All right, sorry about that. My camera died, so and I'm using the front camera just to make it easier on myself. So sorry if there's a little dip in quality. But yes, that last book had that beautiful, sophisticated cover that I loved, but I wanted to do a little bit more research on it. So currently I am reading Vanity Fair, which honestly is a bit of a challenging read for me. It's so dense, and the language is not only the language, but also like the prose, the way it's actually written, has been a bit challenging for me. It's been a long time since I've read a classic, but I mean, other than one of my favorite books is The Beautiful and the Damned, and that's of Scott Fitzgerald, who is considered a classic, but I'm gonna stick with it. So that is currently my nighttime read, and I'll continue with that. So yes, no go at the bookstore today, but I still enjoyed myself. And still today, I want to make, my mother has this excellent soft gingerbread cookie recipe, but I want to try to make it without refined sugar, so using date paste instead. So we'll see if she's up for it, if she's up for adjusting the recipe with me. Who knows if she will be. But let's go see about that. And I really want to do it because I'm with my Substack Christmas cereal. What I'm doing is I'm layering in some recipes from St. Cloud, which is the community that I'm writing about, and I'm looking for the perfect gingerbread cookie, because part of the lore of this area, this little hallmarky like town, is their gingerbread cookies, and how it's been this recipe that's been over 100 years in the making. And so I want to actually create an excellent gingerbread cookie that the readers can make and enjoy a little piece of the story. So I'm hoping that my mother will want to play with that with me tonight. So we'll see. Back at the house, and it's about 8:10, and Mom said no. She is too tired, so we will do that a bit later on in the week, but all good. I know exactly what we're gonna make. We are going to make chocolate St. Cloud cups. try to say that 3 times fast. But they are these really great homemade, healthy fat, collagen packed chocolates that I make. And then the chocolate is poured in these almond date cups. So good. It's gonna take about an hour for the crust, the almond date crust to solidify. And then I'll make the chocolates. It's only 6 ingredients total with the crust. So I'm gonna make those. I'll put the recipe on the screen as I make them, and I'm going to say bye to you now because it's gonna take about an hour and a half to make, which will be my bedtime. So I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day and an absolutely wonderful week.